TGR News, broadcasting from the State of Israel.
Welcome back to TGR News.
Hello, hello.
This week was a week with important issues and attacks from double fronts, starting with the attempts to try to make the Passover sacrifice on the Temple Mount, and the steps were taken by our enemies to take us moments before a full-out war in the Middle East. All these really pressing issues and more. But first, let's say thank you. Thank you for everything you guys do. It is an amazing thing. Last week we talked about how we gave you the plans we have of moving up and getting a place so that we can reach more and more people, because we're getting to soon we'll be to the place where we can't do it by physically filling up a truckload and passing it out, which is such a blessing that you guys have been so wonderful in being a part of this to where we got to this point. And it is just a blessing to be a part of it. It is an amazing thing to be able to give all these people the food that they so desperately need in such hard times that they're going through. And we talk about how many families, but the families here are fairly large in size. I mean, we're over 80, probably close to 100 people we're feeding every month. So it is a real blessing, and we're just continually growing with you guys. It really is amazing. I don't know how to say thank you. It's such an amazing thing. And like we always say, if you're not a part of this part of this ministry yet, and you feel like you want to, there are links below every one of the videos to the Patreon page or to the Support Us page, or you can go to thegoldenreport.com and go to the Support Us page there and find whichever way is best for you. And it's just a wonderful thing that we're a part of. And let's not forget God's promise. He blessed those that bless Israel and curse those that curse Israel. So amen to that.
Amen.
And let's get started. This was a heavy week, as I'm sure you probably know. We'll start up from the very beginning of the week. The former President Donald Trump's court proceedings have been a well-covered issue here in the State of Israel. The large majority of Israeli public does not forget all the great things that Trump did for us here, and are upset, to say the least, with how he is being treated. I personally can say is that we don't want the Biden administration in light of what is coming in the future. War is coming to Israel, and we need strong friends and stand beside us. I will get into the details towards the end of this video. You won't want to miss it, because it's a lot happening here in Israel. But it's definitely, the Israeli public are not happy with what they see on the news when they see the way the government and the judicial system in America is treating Donald Trump. If there's anything good that's coming out of this, it's maybe, possibly, causing people in Israel, even the ones who didn't want the reform here in Israel, maybe, God willing, is helping them open their eyes to see that the courts aren't always right.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta keep things in check.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So I know this channel we always talk about. We have so much to talk about. By the way, this is probably going to be a fairly long video. I know we only talk about the things that happen here in Israel, but these events with Donald Trump are just so huge that I couldn't not say something about it. And I wanted you guys to know how the public here in Israel, most of the people here in Israel, feel about it.
Yeah. Well, let's come back to Israel. On Friday night, a 26-year-old Arab took a gun from a police officer in the old city of Jerusalem. The terrorist was able to fire 2 rounds without hitting the police officers before the police were able to shoot him and stop him from killing them. The family of the terrorist is trying to say that this was a murder, and it's not true that the terrorist took a gun from the police officer. For their support, they say there's no videos.
Yeah.
And we can't prove that he's trying to do what he did. Actually, he took a gun from the officers. But as we know, they've been investigated. The police
Of course they
investigated.
investigated it.
Of course, we investigate every little thing, and it's been
Proven. They got
proved
DNA from him off of the gun.
from the gun.
From two places on the gun, from where you rack it back and on the handle and trigger itself.
Yeah.
And also, he did fire 2 shots, and those 2 shots were proven from the angles and everything. So I mean, they're just trying to act good. And one of the things they said when they tried to say that it was he wasn't it was not true that he didn't do it, is they said he was a doctor or studying to be a doctor. So he has the Hippocratic oath where you don't hurt anybody, and he's a good person and everything. Well, it's been proven that this doctor did do it. So that once again goes to show you can't put this all on the uneducated Arabs in the world, right? It's just a problem this world needs to face, and we need to get ready for what's coming.
Yeah.
A high-ranking Iranian officer, General Hadari, was assassinated in Syria on Thursday night. He was a key player in the Iranian cyber team responsible for attacking Israel and many other countries to act out cyber terrorism, as well as First Lieutenant Mahakani. These are difficult names here. Who was the head officer of the Iranian drone program. This was a big blow to Iran and a great deterrent to Iran in their attempts to cause havoc to the Western world. Iran stated they will definitely make an attack on Israel because of this.
Just because of this.
Yeah, just this. Yeah, this is
the reason.
Yeah, they never really wanted to attack us before, did they?
No.
Yeah, it's but this was a very successful mission for Israel, and it was a strong message to Iran.
Yeah. We'll find you.
Yep.
Wherever you are, you can't hide.
Exactly.
Then on Saturday night, Israel carried out an airstrike in Syria, taking out another warehouse of Iranian weapons that were headed to Hezbollah to be used against Israel. In this airstrike, which was the 3rd Israel attack on Iranian targets in Syria, an Iranian soldier was killed. Iran again put out a statement saying that they will have revenge on Israel and there will be an attack coming soon.
Yeah, well, on Sunday, Iran tried to stay true to its promise and attempted to attack Israel. Iran sent a military drone to Israel from Syria. We shot it down using electronic weapons, meaning not rockets or bullets or conventional weapons. Then it seems like in a joint effort, Hamas launched a drone in Gaza, but they did not let it go out of Gaza's airspace. More and more, we see that Gaza is working with and planning attacks with Israel's enemies from abroad. Lebanon and Iran, we know that Iran is planning to carry out attacks on Jewish targets in Europe. They want a large attack with a large amount of Jews dead. Yeah, but it's the Israeli Mossad has uncovered plans that Iran has been putting out to try and make big. Last week they stopped one, remember, in Greece, in Athens, and they're making more and more plans to take out to try to take out targets with Jewish people in Europe. Yeah. And in Gaza, like we talked about, it's so more and more you see them working together like they never used to start.
It's concerning.
Yeah, it is very concerning. On Saturday night, we had another terrorist attack. This time, an Arab with his car near Gush Etzion ran down young Jews on the side of the road, waiting for a bus at the bus station. The terrorist was able to hit 3 of the young Jews, injuring 2 seriously and putting them in the hospital, fighting for their lives. And another was still seriously injured, just not danger of death. The IDF soldiers in the area were able to shoot and stop him from carrying out more attacks. Now, this week, like I said, we're in the second or third week of Ramadan, their religious holidays that they usually try to kill as many Jews as possible. Yeah. And it's the first week and a half was sort of quiet, but now they're starting to really act up.
Yeah.
More and more you see it everywhere now, not this week.
Yeah. On Tuesday morning, an Arab was walking around a large intersection in the north of the country, looking for Jews to attack. He followed two young Jews soldiers about 300 yards and began to stab them. One of the soldiers was seriously injured, and the other is injured but less life-threatening.
Yeah.
IDF soldier that was seriously injured was fighting with the terrorist to not to let him take his gun.
Yeah, he was trying to take his gun. Yeah.
He laid on his gun, not to let him get it, but he was already injured.
Well, I heard what ended up happening was regular citizens around that were in the area helped the soldiers and caught the guy, and then the security services came and arrested him and everything, the terrorist. But the only thing I think is it must not have been like real combat soldiers or something, because the IDF is a great army, but we have also regular clerks and everything else, right? They're not everyone's combat, right?
Yeah.
So that must have been, they didn't put that out, information out, what kind of soldiers they were, but that's the only thing I can think of it.
Yeah, and plus don't forget, some of them is just 18 years old and maybe he just started. You never know how long he was in the IDF, and it takes time to really, I think, my opinion, it takes time to train. Yeah.
Well, as I said, war is coming. Now Syria is openly stating that they are fed up with Israel making airstrikes in their country, and they will go to war to stop it. This was on Tuesday, after Israel carried out another airstrike, stopping another shipment of weapons from Iran to Hezbollah. Iran, Syria, and Lebanon are strengthening their bond against Israel and getting ready to attack Israel. Israel, since 1948, has had a large war almost every 10 years, with 3 or 4 smaller wars in between them. Statistics say that we are far overdue. When you look around, you can see that this upcoming war is going to be one to the north with Iran, Lebanon, and Syria. Whether or not Russia is going to join in, that I don't know, but we know that Russia is the direct supporter of money and weapons to these Muslim countries. They've also become great friends now with Iran and everyone else, right?
Yeah.
So I actually wrote all of this about war is coming 2 days before what ended up happening this week, which is going on as we speak, by the way. But we'll get into all that.
Yeah. This week, a known group of religious Jews that are active in trying to build and establish the third temple on the Temple Mount tried to make a sacrifice on the Temple Mount to celebrate the Passover. They were arrested and given restraining orders from the Old City and social media. This is still the official position of the State of Israel. Arabs are allowed to pray and have free access to the Temple Mount, and Jews are not allowed to make religious ceremonies or pray on the Temple Mount. So status quo is still on.
Yep, status quo is still the same. We're not allowed, but they are. And this group of people that tried to make the sacrifice, it was a goat, tried to make the sacrifice on the Temple Mount. They do it every year. Every year, try. Yeah, and they always get stopped by police at the entrance because you're walking up there with a goat, right?
Yes.
So they always get stopped. But I'd say good for them for keep trying. One of these days, it might start off the whole thing again and say, hey, we need to build the third temple, right?
Yeah.
But the acts of, I don't know if it was that specifically that started the chain of events of the following, what we're going to talk about, but that or what happened the same night after they attempted to sacrifice on Passover, the evening of Passover, the beginning of Passover. And the following evening, that same night, the Arabs that were supposed to be praying at Al-Aqsa Mosque, there on the Temple Mount, instead began to attack Israeli forces in the area, throwing stones, fireworks, and Molotov cocktails. This was just the beginning, because then Gaza fired 16 rockets into Israel and the surrounding area of Gaza. The IDF answered back by taking out military targets in Gaza. All of this was right before the Passover. So this event right here, where actually what they ended up doing, the Arabs that came to pray, but they didn't come to pray because they came armed with Molotov cocktails, a bunch of stones, and fireworks. They actually barricaded the other Arabs that were in there praying, and ended up causing the Israeli police to have to go in and take care of it, right?
Yeah.
So then they started shooting at them the fireworks and throwing at them the Molotov cocktails and the stones and everything. And they put out, and the reason they did that is to make videos, like they always do, and to show just the parts of
Our response.
Yeah, just our response to their violence. And when they broadcasted that out, it jump-started a chain of events where Gaza fired 7 more rockets, which Israel hadn't, up until this time when we're doing this video, hadn't answered back yet. And then after all that night of Gaza firing rockets into Israel, on the following morning, on Thursday, Lebanon fired over 30 rockets, actually 36 rockets in 30 minutes. Well, actually 34 rockets in 30 minutes, waited a couple hours and fired 2 more into Israel during Passover day. This caused some damage and injured Israelis in the areas under attack. No one was killed, thank God, but this just goes to show you that we are moments away from the next war. The match that lit all this fire was the violence on the Temple Mount, like we was talking about. And we're still in this. We still don't know what the end of this story is going to be or when it's going to be.
Yeah.
As we're making this video, you know, the time schedules here in America and the rest of the world is so different, right? The Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister Netanyahu, is at the war room of the main war room in Tel Aviv, talking to the generals and everything else. So we don't know. We're not in that meeting. They didn't call me. Did they call you?
No, not
today. They didn't call you.
So
we don't know what's going on in there. So we won't know that until tomorrow or the next day. And but whatever it is, if this turns out to be an ongoing thing, then like I've always done on this channel, I always give updates during the week if it's something that just big events are happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Something just to say about the Al-Aqsa and how the Arabs start in this chain reaction every time they do that. So they come, and instead of come and pray, they gather together and they prepare themselves. They pick up big rocks.
Yep.
Bring in sticks and other kind of ammunition. They can bring their fireworks and stuff. So they prepare to not to pray. It's not a holy place for them. There's nothing holy about what they're doing there. So you of course have the majority, I think, of people who come in to pray, the Muslim coming to pray, but there are other group who's coming not to pray. They're coming to light fire and make everybody to feel for them. So now Jordan and Syria and Egypt and Saudi Arabia, they all condemned Israel for trying to keep them from hurting themselves. By the way, the other Muslims that just came to pray, they barricade them inside, don't let them go out, and start shooting things to our police. So of course it looks bad when they put their videos out, but if you see
the whole story and all the videos, and then you understand the story.
They always make the same thing, and it always works for them.
Yeah, another thing is anytime, if any of you have ever visited the state of Israel, I'm sure you went to the Western Wall, went to see the old city of Jerusalem. We all go through big, metal detectors and get searched and everything else. Have you ever been able to sneak in some fireworks to the Western Wall?
No.
Of course not.
No.
So what does that mean? You wouldn't be able to either with all the checks that they do there.
Yeah.
That means that it just goes to show you, we're always trying to be such a nice guy and get along with them. We don't even really check them that much. That way they are allowed to. They know they can get away with getting that stuff up there.
We're really walking on eggs. I don't know if in English you have this. We really let them have just go and pray and if you're peaceful, you will enjoy it. You will have all the freedom that you want. But of course, the people who don't want to pray and just want war,
In my opinion, we need to take the Temple Mount back anyway and go ahead and build the third temple. I'm sure that's everyone else watching this opinion too. But, the Temple Mount is more and more in the news, and I like it because it means things are moving in that direction. And that's to us, that's good news. So go ahead and get that schedule started up, right?
Yeah.
So, but like we always say, we'll always keep you updated on any kind of changes on the Temple Mount because it's such a pivotal point in the timeline of things to come. So we will always keep that with any changes with the Temple Mount and up front in the news and keep you updated. Well, you got anything else you want to add?
No, that's basically it.
You sure?
Yes.
I feel like we got through that pretty quick. It didn't seem that long.
Yeah, well, I hope that will be all for this week and we won't have any updates.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully we can go through the whole next week without having to give you war updates like we have before on this channel. Well, I guess that's it. Don't forget to join us on thegoldenreport.com. And until next week,
Shabbat Shalom.
God bless.